Hello friends, today we will discuss triangle patterns. So on that we will discuss three patterns, that is symmetrical, descending and ascending triangle. So we will not waste any more time. We will straight away start with symmetrical triangle. These are actually continuation patterns, but we will discuss each and every bit of these triangle patterns. So moving to the first, that is symmetrical pattern. So the first one is symmetrical pattern. So what exactly happens and how does it look? For a basic information, let me draw. This is just a formation like this, where there is a previous uptrend and it gives breakout. So this is what a symmetrical triangle looks like. So the symmetrical triangle usually forms during a trend as continuation pattern. So the very first requirement is we need to know is it's a continuation pattern. It has few obligations, or you can say few like there may be few changes or few extra things which we will learn, but it's usually a continuation pattern. The pattern contains at least two lower highs and two higher lows. Two lower highs and two higher lows. So we are in this which I have drawn, we are having three lower highs and two lower to higher lows. So this is actually the requirement. You can say the most important requirement. This is lower highs and this is higher lows. So you can see this is why it's forming a symmetrical triangle. When these points are connected, the line converges and they are extended and the symmetrical triangle takes shape. Few times you may see a symmetrical triangle as trend reversal. This is what I was exactly telling when before starting the session, that there may be some ifs and buts, like it can be a trend reversal pattern, but that in any case it's actually most of the cases you will be finding it's a continuation pattern. So if few times you may see symmetrical triangle as trend reversal, but more often these are symbols of trend continuation. But be it a trend reversal or trend continuation, the very fact is that it stands true unless and until its breakout. It doesn't stand officially legal. So unless and until you can find symmetrical triangle like this, or else let me draw like this was a downtrend and it went like this and it's coming this way. So unless and until we get this position and this position, this breakout, so it's not officially true to tell that a symmetrical triangle breakout is given, or it's forming a symmetrical triangle breakout. So as every time we do break each parts into bits and pieces and discuss, so in this also we will identify each part so that it will be a clear picture what exactly happens and what we should look while looking into a symmetrical triangle. So let me draw this one, then we will find by taking each and every part. So this is the first one. So the first requirement which I always say is the trend. So this is what we have already discussed. In order to simply qualify as a continuation pattern, an established trend should exist. So as this is a continuation pattern, so we should have a uptrend in case of a bullish reversal or not bullish continuation, and in case of a bearish continuation we need to have a downtrend. So in that case it should be like this, like we are having a previous trend from here, so it should be like this and this should be the reaction. So a previous trend should be there as it's a continuation pattern. The trend should be at least few months old. First is there should be a trend. The second one is the time for the previous trend which we are looking for. It should be at least for few months. So few months before. So these portions we need to measure, like from this blue line to this line. So this should be approximately forming few months ago, and this red line should be also before few months. This is how exactly it goes on. So now coming to the upper line, or not the upper line, these two lines which basically forms the triangle. So it is usually said as it's a 4-point line. So we have already read that 2 points are required to form a trend. We have, while reading support and resistance, or while we are going through trend lines, I have already discussed, I have already mentioned that there is a minimum requirements of 2 points to draw a trend line. So here also we need to draw two lines, that is, one is a resistance line and the other is support line, so that it would form a symmetrical triangle. So for upper line we require 2 points, and for lower line also we require 2 points. Then only we will find a symmetrical triangle. So it's commonly known as 4 points. So we have therefore a minimum of 4 points are required to begin considering a formation as a symmetrical triangle. So how does it works is, let me draw and tell you. So if this is a continuation pattern and here it is forming a shape like this. So here approximately, I'm not drawing it. So here we are having, at least I have drawn 3 points. So what exactly it is, you should have at least 2 points in each side. So 2 points on each side. So total is 4 points, which then will conform as a symmetrical pattern. The second low should be higher than the first, and lower line should slope up. So let me discuss about the downside, the support line. What exactly it is telling, how it should be is, suppose this is symmetrical line and we have got a pattern like this. So this is first low, this is second low. The second low should be higher than the first. It should be higher than the first. The second low should be higher than the first low, and the slope should be upward tilted. It should be upward. And now coming to the resistance line, the second high should be, this is the first high and this is the second high. The second high should be less than or lower than the first, and the upper line should slope down. So this should slope down and this should slope up, and this should, the lower low should be higher than the first. This low should be higher than the first low, and this high should be lower than the first high. So this is what the second requirement is for the formation of a symmetrical triangle. A pattern can be considered valid with 2 points on each, but ideally before breakout, if we have 3 on each, then it's better. So that is why almost when I draw, you will find that I'm drawing 3 points. So as per bookish language, or you can say where it is being mentioned, it's considered that it's valid when we are getting 2 points, but it's better if we were getting before the breakout is giving. If we're getting 3 points, then it's well and good. Now coming to, we have discussed 2 points, that is the prior trend and the support and resistance to form the symmetrical triangle. Now moving to volume, how exactly we need to look to the volume pattern. So as a symmetrical triangle extends and a trading range contracts, so what exactly I'm trying to tell you, as this triangle extends and we are getting a contraction in this point, as it contracts, as this symmetrical triangle is forming and we are getting a contraction in the triangle, this refers to the silence before the storm. So while this pattern is developing, we will find a recede in volume or a diminish in volume. So you will find a volume structure like this, and while giving this breakout there should be higher volume. It's almost common in every breakout and every pattern breakout, like when there is a breakout there should be increase in volume, and in case of symmetrical triangle, while the formation is going on, there should be a diminish in volume. So this is actually referring a few consolidation period before it again starts the continuation of the pattern. So now coming to the next is the duration. How exactly we will find the duration. The symmetrical triangle can extend for few weeks. The If we're looking for a triangle breakout, so first we will look how actually what is the time frame of this. So the first is it's for few weeks to months. If the pattern is less than 3 weeks, it is usually what happens that we have similar pattern to this. So how we differentiate between these two patterns is, one is pennant, one is symmetrical triangle. Pennant is also similar to this and it looks exactly to this. So the only differentiation is if the pattern is less than 3 weeks, it is considered to be as pennant. So typically the time duration is about 2 to 3 months of for symmetrical triangle, and if it's less than 2 to 3 weeks, then we will not consider this as symmetrical triangle. This would be a pennant pattern. So that is almost different from this, and the reactions are also different. So now we will move to the next one, that is breakout. When does it gives breakout and what should be the time frame? The ideal breakout points, after being looking into trades, after being doing various trades taking symmetrical triangle into consideration, what we have found is ideal breakout point occurs uh, either we can say either half or three-fourth the way through the pattern development and time span. So let me discuss what I'm trying to say. If this is the pattern and we are having a formation like this, so it's saying before to this points, we will be most probably we will be seeing the breakout is given either halfway the run for the formation or three-fourth of the formation. The breakout time frame can be measured by taking starting and considering. So let me change the color so that it would be clearer. The breakout time frame which we need to measure can be considered from, like, this was a uptrend and from here we are calculating the high and from here the low. So from this point we can say that if this is the triangle from here to here, so if we are going for halfway, then it should give a breakout from this point. If it's 3/4, then it should give breakout from this point. So these are 2 points which we could calculate, like how to calculate halfway and 3/4. It's from the start of the triangle to the coinciding points. So if the breakout occurs halfway, it might be premature. So there I have discussed 2 points, that a halfway breakout or a 3/4 breakout. So now we will discuss which one is actually can give good successful trades. If the breakout is halfway, but we will find that yes, the symmetrical triangle has not been formed properly. Before that, it's giving a breakout, so it's a premature breakout. And if breakout occurs too close, suppose it's again, it will move to, it doesn't stop here, again it come to this level and then moving, and it's too close to the coinciding points, then it's actually considered as insignificant. So a proper breakout is as and when the price approaches the coinciding point or apex. So let me draw this one. So a proper breakout would be if while approaching, it should not be at this point, while approaching to the coinciding point or apex. So this would be a proper breakout. So that we can see in our while practicing, we would definitely find that yes, this breakout is giving too early or it's too late. So it should not be like that. Now coming to breakout direction, and it's quite confusing, like symmetrical triangle is not like it's a bullish pattern or bearish pattern, it's a continuation pattern. It can be a bearish or bullish pattern both. So it's quite obvious that it can only be determined after the breakout has been occurred. So I always tell in my all videos that unless and until you get this point, price moving away from this point with proper volume, should not take a trade. So this is where exactly we found or we find that yes, this is going to give a breakout. So this point is most important point, or else it is better to wait for the next candle, for formation of the next candle. If the next candle is forming above this line, then a trade can be taken quite easily. So this is what is for breakout direction. It can be in downside direction also, and again the same rule applies for the downside. So one more thing is return to apex or return to support or resistance line is important. Like in many patterns we have seen that if this is the triangle, in breakout what we find that, just a minute, just look into what I am trying to tell is, if this is the breakout, sometimes you will find this is again coming to this. So this is almost quite common in every pattern, a support becoming resistance or a resistance becoming support. So after the breakout, the apex can turn into future support or resistance. So it can sometimes give another chance to entry or exit. So if you are in a position where at this point and it moved again to this level and you haven't exited from your position, it gives another chance to exit so that it will move further down. So by volume analyzing, we would confirm these breakouts. It's not like whenever we will see symmetrical triangle, we will directly go for a trade. We have different options, we have different things to look into. And one more thing, the price target is the wider part The price target is the wider part of the triangle. Widest distance of the triangle is considered to be as the target. Then again, as per target, we need to look into the previous resistance, the previous support before taking any trade. So the first target, if this is the previous support, the first target should be here. Then only we will look into this target. If it's moving again from this level, then here a trade can be taken, and again we will see for this level, then only we will move to downside. It's not like from the very point of breakout we could give a target of such a big target. We need to look into other support and resistances. So this is what is all about a symmetrical triangle. Let me show you a live example. Like this is NMDC chart, and it's looking to be a very nice formation of symmetrical triangle, and most probably it has already given a breakout from this label, and from last 2 to 3 days it's trading at 135 and 136 level. So this is where it is trading, and it's a good sign that it's almost above the resistance for 2 to 3 days. So there can be a trade, and possibilities are we can look into 141 42 43 levels in very short time period. So this can be let me discuss few things here also. Suppose we are looking into these. So this is exactly a 3-point movement, and this is what we have discussed. The lows should be higher from the previous ones, and the highs should be lower from the previous one. We are having 1, we are having 2, we are having 3. So it's almost qualifying all our analysis which should be done for a symmetrical triangle. You see, while there was a upside movement, there was a higher volume, and while the triangle was forming, the volume is declining. So it's also giving the signal that yes, it's according to a symmetrical triangle. So here we need to look into how the volume is reacting. This is a chart before the triangle, before the breakout is being given. So you would look how exactly it is being formed while the breakout is given. So after that it would be a confirmed trade. So this is all about symmetrical triangle. We have a few more, we can have few more, I mean to say that this we can see this is also a symmetrical triangle. It's a weekly chart, so we will be having single candle formations over here. You can see first, and here second, here it is the first one, the second one, the third one. So, this candle is actually continuing to form. It's not being formed, but the breakout would be from this level, and it's already given a breakout in Manappuram. We have found that it's already in level of 119.20 levels. So it's again like a successful breakout being given. So this is how we can trade using symmetrical triangles. So there is a difference, a small difference between symmetrical triangle and pennant that need to be looked. That is the time frame. So a smaller time frame is usually a pennant, and a larger time frame is usually a symmetrical triangle. So this is what all about a symmetrical triangle. We will move to the next one, that is ascending triangle. Ascending triangle would be, let's draw and see how ascending triangle would look. The next one is ascending triangle. So An ascending triangle is almost similar, but the pattern looks different. This is how it looks. An ascending triangle looks like this. One more thing to tell. Okay, we will move into each part and we will learn. We will not directly. So here are 3 points. Here are 3 points. So the ascending triangle is a bullish formation that usually formed during an uptrend as a continuation pattern. This is also a continuation pattern. As I said, it is similar to a symmetrical triangle. It's a continuation pattern, but the only difference is it's a bullish formation. In any case, it's a bullish formation. It's unlike a symmetrical triangle. It doesn't give two-way breakouts. It's actually considered to be a bullish continuation pattern. There are instances when ascending triangle forms as reversal pattern, but whatever the situation may be, the reversal is not considered. A reversal trend is not considered for the downside. It can be a reversal pattern from a downside movement to a upside movement. So a bullish reversal can be considered, but not a bearish reversal. Either a bullish continuation or a bullish reversal. So no bearish formation in this. So this is what ascending triangle. No matter where they form, typically they are bullish pattern and indicate accumulation. So this is the area where we find that this is the accumulation period for the bullish continuation or bullish reversal. As the shape resembles somehow to what I am trying to say is this is a straight horizontal line and this is the upward sloping line. So when we join this part, the width part, we will find a 90-degree. So it's also being said as a right angle triangle, as the shape gives a 90-degree from the above. So it's also said as a right angle triangle. As usual, let's examine each and every part, bits and pieces of ascending triangle, so that we would get a very clear picture. So the first one, as usual, the first one is the trend. As we have already discussed that it's actually a bullish continuation or bullish reversal. So the previous trend can be both, but majorly it's a bullish continuation pattern. So there should be a uptrend before this formation. So this should be like this and this should be like this. So there is a small mistake while drawing this. Let me draw this one first, then only I can draw without. So there should be a previous trend in case of ascending triangle, as it's a bullish continuation pattern. So a bullish trend is required before this. This part should be a bullish trend. Now let's discuss the top horizontal line. So I'm trying to discuss this part, this top horizontal line. Please do not mind that I'm not that acquainted in drawing, so I may draw a little bit here and there. So the top horizontal line, at least again two reactions highs are required. So here are the reaction highs and these are the reaction lows. So we required at least two reaction highs for the top horizontal line. It's not that necessary to be highs to be exact similar, uh, because for formation of a horizontal line definitely we would require an exact line, but it's considered to be approximation is considered to be okay in this pattern. It's not like it should be very much lower or very much higher than the previous reaction high or low, but it should be almost equal. there should be some difference between the highs and the reaction lows between them. So there should be some distance between the highs and the reaction lows between them. So it cannot be like this is the high and this is the low. So there is no distance. So there should be distance like this. This is the high and where the low. So almost a price gap is there. So this should be there, and here also we have a gap. So there should be some distance between the reaction highs and reaction lows. So this is the requirement for the upper horizontal line, the top horizontal line. So we have discussed trend, and we have discussed also the top horizontal line. The next one is the lower ascending trend line. That is, we will be discussing this part. So the lower part, we need to see two ascending reaction lows to form the lower ascending trend line. So as the name suggests, in the lower parts it should be two ascending reaction lows. The lows should be moving higher. These lows should be, the recent low should be higher than the previous low, and there should be some distance between the lows. It should not be like this is a single candle and the second candle we are considering as the lows. So there should be some distance between. Here one thing to note is, if a recent reaction low, if, just let me change the color. So if a recent reaction low, so this is the recent reaction low which I am taking into consideration. If the recent reaction low is either equal or less than, if this would be forming at this level or lower than this level, then this pattern is considered to be invalid. So this recent reaction low should be higher than the previous low. So this is the major thing to note while looking into the lower line. Now coming to the duration, what exactly we need to look while looking at the pattern. It can form between weeks to months. So it's again a long term in the sense we need to consider at least few weeks to months, but average, on an average, 2 to 3 months is good enough for this pattern. So again the duration is, I'm writing the average duration, but it can be less than that also, 2 to 3 months, the average duration for the formation of this pattern. Now coming to the volume part, volume resists during the development of the pattern, as it's almost similar in every pattern, chart patterns. So during the formation, there should be a decline in volume. It's not should be, but it's considerably good when we see a decline in volume during the formation, as we have said that this is actually a control like accumulation stage. It's referring to accumulation stage. So there should be a decline in volume, a smaller accumulations on daily basis it's going on. But at breakout there should be expansion of volume to confirm the breakout. So while increasing, there should, while the formation is giving a breakout, there should be increase in volume. Now one interesting thing, volume confirmation is a preference, it's not necessary for this pattern. So a increase in volume for the breakout is actually a preference. We can see, yes, there is good volume, but it's not exactly necessary that without volume also it can give breakout. Return to breakout, it's common. Most of the pattern returns to breakout after being giving a breakout. So here it's considering about this point. It's almost common. It gives another chance to either enter or exit your positions. Now the target is the widest distance of the triangle. This is the target. So again, this is all about ascending triangle. We are having a descending triangle also. It's also similar to ascending, similar in the sense all these line trend, the bits and pieces will be almost similar. The formation is difference. The descending triangle is exactly difference, like this upward line should slope here and this should be a horizontal line. This is again considered to be a right angle triangle. If we draw a vertical line over here, we would find a 90-degree from here. Few important things let me tell about a descending triangle. We would not discuss each and every thing for descending triangle, as we have already discussed ascending triangle. I will just tell you few important things, like for the trend, mostly a downtrend, as it's a continuation pattern or a bearish pattern. This pattern is a bearish pattern, descending triangle. In any case, it's a bearish pattern. Either we require a downside continuation, so it can be a continuation if the previous trend is downside. It can be a bearish reversal if the previous trend is upside. We can look into, but basically majorly it's a continuation pattern, and that to be a bearish continuation pattern. So this is the first thing to note down. And here exactly the similar lower horizontal lines, we need to have at least 2 points. Here we are having 3 points, at least 2 points, and that should be approximately similar so that it can be a horizontal line. A little bit here and there it's possible, but it should be in approximation. The upper line, this is what is important while considering this one. The recent high should be lower than the previous one. At least two reaction highs are required to form. The important point is the recent high should be successfully lower, and there should be some distance between the highs. The recent high, this is the recent high, it should be lower than the previous one. Now coming to the duration, it's almost similar to a ascending pattern. It should be 2 to 3 months for the formation. Volume is again during the pattern, the volume usually contracts. Again, the volume contracts during the pattern, and while giving a breakout, it gives, we can look into higher volume. So target is the widest distance. So this is all about the triangle pattern. We can find all this in our trading platforms. The main major part is looking into the pattern. One more thing I need to tell before you look into finding all these patterns, please do not forcefully draw these patterns. The patterns should automatically come to your eye. You could see in your naked eye that this is exactly how it is being forming. It's not necessary that you should draw each and every pattern and forcefully make this. I have seen people drawing cup and handle many patterns which are exactly not like that, but they forcefully draw that yes, this is how cup and handle is looking. It's almost similar to cup and handle, but it should not be like that. These are patterns which should come to your naked eye in normal. It should not be forcefully being drawn. So the task is look into these patterns and please post on the WhatsApp group. We will discuss. We have already discussed symmetrical triangle. I haven't posted this NMDC chart anywhere. I was just looking, and I have taken a trade by using this pattern for myself, for my own trade, and it's I'm keeping this for a longer time frame just because It was a previous downtrend, so I'm looking into a reversal pattern as this. I'm looking into a reversal. So we would that's all for today's session. Next we will move to harmonic pattern. That is actually a little bit confusing patterns, harmonic pattern. So before that, please, we'll be having class tomorrow. So before that, practice all these things and look into few patterns, find few scripts with these patterns, and thank you.